Glad to have you join us again. It's Business Breakfast on iBrand Television. Charles Frackwaga, iBrand Senior Analyst, joins me now live virtually to do some analysis of the stories. Charles, good morning. It's a pleasure having you join me on the program again this week.
Thank you, blessings. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
All right, let's get the business running now. You've seen some of the top stories that we are filing at this time. We're starting off now with this claim that the Association of Macro Entrepreneurs of Nigeria, and that's AMEN, has come out to counter the report by the Director General of the Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria, and that's SMEDAN, saying that 7 billion naira has been disbursed to support macro entrepreneurs in the country in the past 100 days since his assumption of office. These guys have come out to say that that is not true, that members of the association and other partner bodies, other sisters association has also not benefited from this. What will you say is playing out here between this association and SMEDAN? Is this not another case of what played out in the humanitarian ministry that we had some weeks ago that led to the suspension of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs of Betta Edu? Your thoughts on this?
Yes, thank you very much, Blessed. We don't want to say this should be a recurring decimal in this current renewed hope administration. Yes, the SMEDAN boss just did 100 days in office. Unfortunately, is my namesake. You know, and people who bear Charles, they tend to do their job very well. So I'm so surprised seeing this story that the Association of Medium Enterprise, which are the engine of any economy, they employ most of the people in the economy, they create jobs, and they kickstart most economy all over the world. And it is because of that the government has set up this special agency to support them, not only for funding, but other technical areas, so that their members will improve and scale up their production and contribute their own quota to the economy. Now, they are saying the 7 billion naira, none of their members are able to come out affirmatively to say they have received this money. In fact, I'm confused as I'm talking to you now. What are we going to believe? The DG of SMEDAN, Charles Odii, or what his name, is saying this is what we have disbursed and all that. But the problem is the disbursing agency. The members of the micro enterprise and enterprise are saying none of our members have benefited. They are telling them, okay, let your members come and show proof of verification. Nobody is coming. So it's a lot of concern for this administration. That does it mean that corruption has eaten deeply into all the government ministries and even editorial department? I think this is an area where EFCC should come back and begin to investigate. Because if you have an agency and they are supposed to disburse this money, then there should be a check and balance. There should be a kind of evaluation. If I have disbursed this amount, should there be documentation as to who has collected this money, and this person should come out and tell us they have received it. So I think EFCC should get into this matter and ensure that if these funds have not been disbursed to the right persons, then of course the management and those in SMEDAN should be brought to book.
All right, thank you so much for that insight. But I need us to stay on this a little bit now. Let's talk about corruption playing out under the nose or under the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And just some days ago, Budget actually came out to say that they suspected, or better still, they have proof to show that the Minister of Works, in person of David Umahi, actually transferred the sum made the payment of the sum of 9.3 billion naira to Microfinance Bank. Now, with all that was seen playing out here in less than 1 year of this administration being in office, what will you have to say about accountability and transparency of this administration? I remember vividly the president saying during this electionary period that it will make corruption unattractive for government officials, but it seems that the reverse is actually the case now, as the president himself is finding it difficult to term the monster called corruption under his watch. What's your reaction to this?
Blessed, it's a very big one. And I want to speak as a pocket lawyer now, because we will say all these are allegations. You know, they've not been proved. I saw that story where the Minister of Works and the Minister of Works was to allegedly paid that kind of amount of money to a microfinance bank. Yeah. And I was asking myself, for what purpose? What is the intention? What is it, you know, that you pay that kind of amount of money to a microfinance bank? And I'm wondering, okay, so for me now, it's an issue of credibility now. Does it mean that the current ministers or government officials don't even understand what it takes when you're talking about integrity and transparency? Some of them might say, maybe out of ignorance. How could you pay such amount of money to a microfinance bank? For what purpose? What are you saying? The contractors should not go to the microfinance bank and collect their money from there? Or what are you saying? When we know the essence of microfinance bank, they are to support the downtrodden society, not for big contractors who are going to be doing big projects with the Federal Ministry of Works. So for me, I think there should also be an investigation to that. But at the same time, probably, I always say, people might not agree with me. When we are appointing ministers, we should do another kind of retreat again for them, and where some of these issues should be taught to them so that they know the implication. You know, being a state governor before you are chief executive, it does not translate that you're going to be the performing minister. Because if a chief executive, you are even being checkmated by your state house of assembly. But as a minister, it's like you are the Lord. So what I am advising now is there should be a check and balance. These ministers should, probably from time to time, do a review and evaluation of what they have done in their various portfolios, because it is becoming an embarrassment to the government and even to themselves, because it goes to show that these ministers are, let's say, financially illiterate, and they don't have any morality, no integrity, no transparency. In all this, we also have PAMSEC in the ministry, we also have a chief accountant in the ministry. Can they in the hall advise and tell the minister, say, sir, this is not how it's supposed to be done, and everybody just needs to keep quiet.
But
so
in a system, permit me to butt in, Charles, in a minute here. In a system where everybody benefits from it, okay, how do you expect the PAMSEC and every other person there to come out and then blow the whistle that, hey, my boss is siphoning money and I'm misappropriating funds meant for the purpose of the well-being of the nation and also Nigerians? Who is going to come out to talk about it when everyone seems to be benefiting from such corruption? How do you address this?
Yes, good. And you can see that most of these persons who work in these ministries belong to one profession or the other. They can be accountants, they can be lawyers, they can be stockbrokers, you know, different professions. And if you look at even broadcasters, journalists, if you look at this profession, you all have professional ethics. And I'm saying you have become an accountant, you have become a lawyer. So because you are in a place where everybody other person is doing something wrong, you also not follow them. What happened to your professional ethics that you swear allegiance during your induction? Because I know in our own profession as stockbrokers, when we train our brokers, we make them to swear, to take an oath of allegiance, to be professional and follow all the ethics of the profession, which is one of the things of saying the whistle blow if you cannot face the person directly. So I think they all will also be culpable, and that after facing the law, they should also face their own professional bodies, maybe withdrawal of their license. Maybe that will teach a lot of people lessons.
Let's wrap up this particular story now with this question. Still bordering on corruption now. I want to believe that the president is aware about this, should I use the word, irregularities going on in ministries, departments and agencies of government institutions. What kind of checks and balances that do you think this administration needs to put in place to bring about some kind of sanity to government agencies, ministries and departments to forestall or to avert the practice of corruption in the system?
Yes, there is no need to bring out any new rule, law, or regulation to some administrative order. It is there in the civil service rule. It is there how funds are supposed to be appropriated, how funds are supposed to be disbursed. Let us go back to the rules and regulations regulation or in operation in the ministry. All those laws are there. It is just for the minister or the president to show that leadership and follow those rules and regulations. We don't need any new extant law. They are all there. How you spend money in your ministry, how you account for it, everything is there. It is just for us to imbibe that attitude of due process. And if we all begin to decide on our own that we want to follow what is in the books and follow due process, some of these incidences will be reduced. It's just because we all just want to circumvent the system and benefit massively, as you have stated earlier. All
right. We should focus now to other story. Now, the National Bureau of Statistics has come out to say that the Nigerians actually spent 1,362 naira 27 kobo per litre to purchase 1 litre of kerosene. Now, with this kind of staggering amount now, what do you think is playing out in that ecosystem, and what ripple effect will this have on the livelihood of poor Nigerians? Because as it stands now, the price of cooking gas, that's LPG, is also skyrocketing. Inflation is on the high side as well, and things are not getting any better, even with the promised renewed hope by this current administration. Charles, what do you have to say? What do you have to say, rather, concerning this?
Well, the inflation has hit an all-time high of over 28%. Recently, we were told that the food inflation has gone to about 33%. So I am not surprised with these figures coming out from the Bureau of Statistics. Yes, it's a continuous way of making the quality of life of the average Nigeria to continue to dwindle. Our quality of life has gone down because we don't have we've had energy poverty. We cannot access gas, electricity you don't get. This is real poverty in the land. And the government has to declare a state of emergency in the energy sector. Because if gas, the average Nigeria cannot access, kerosene, they cannot access, what is the next thing? They will begin to look at other alternatives that might not be environmentally friendly, which is maybe wood or charcoal, as the case may be. And this will continuously or continually damage our environment and at the same time deprive our people of a standard or good quality of life. So the government has to come back and begin to see that, yes, we need to take drastic measures when it comes to making some of these energy issues available to the average. It's a very pathetic situation, and it's not something that can be solved overnight. But the government just needs to start something to ensure that the average Nigerian gets access to energy.
Talking about energy deficiency in the country, like you rightly stated, Charles, give us more insight about the impact or the role the Dangote refinery will play by the time it begins distribution of its energy products such as kerosene, AGO, that's diesel, jet, A1 fuel, and the likes. Do you think that despite tackling the challenge of availability, do you think it's going to have any impact of the reduction in prices of kerosene? Because for those houses that cannot afford the rising cost of LPG, and they have shift focus to using kerosene now, do you see the price of kerosene coming down with the distribution of Dangote refinery products across the country?
Well, if you ask me, without even doing any critical analysis, I will tell you I don't see any reduction in price.
Okay.
Because even right now, Dangote is telling you that we cannot supply enough crude. He's going to buy crude from the US. United States. Yeah. And once he gets his crude there, he's paying in dollar, he's going to refine. And of course, as a businessman, he will want to recoup his money. So for me, I don't really see any reduction in the price of any of those variants of these energy products that are coming out from crude. Right, is kerosene, what is the because I don't see the issue of him not even trying to say you want to do the good PMS. Because of pricing issue, they are still discussing with the government as to the appropriate pricing of the Dangote PMS. So it's a real issue, and the man cannot just continue to wait. That's why he's going to the US to get his own that he can process and distillate and get the various fractions that will come out of that crude. So again, the Nigerian government has to see that. Thank God We don't know whether that is correct. Because we have NNPCL has 20% of Dangote refinery. So Nigeria is a stakeholder, a shareholder in that company. So this is the time we have to do a critical meeting to say, yes, this is the price you want to say. But at the same time, the man will want to recoup his money. So there has to be a delicate balance as to him breaking even and at the same time selling at a price that is affordable to the average Nigerian. But one thing is sure, he's going to sell at a price that will enable him to recoup and make some margin on whatever is going to be distributed.
All right, let's shift focus now to the next story now. And this has to do with Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger planned exit from ECOWAS region. We have a report here from the International Trade Center saying that the $277.22 billion trade within the region and the world is going to be disrupted. Now, Charles, bring us up to speed to the ripple effect, looking at it from trade within the region and also insecurity within the region as Mali, Niger, and Mali pulled out from ECOWAS. What impact do you think this will have, and particularly to the Nigerian state?
Well, Nigeria being a big brother of Africa, of West Africa, let me put it that way, I will be playing that role and being the chairman of our current president, the chairman of ECOWAS, we need to play that leadership role. Yes, the government, military juntas in Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, they have seen that they are no longer welcome in that sub-region in terms of, because of the nature of their government. It's a forceful takeover, which is what we're all preaching again. I think negotiation did not need to fail at this time. It's for ECOWAS to continue to negotiate and let those juntas be aware that they must give a clear-cut agenda as to how they want to return power back to the civilian people. 4 months, 12 months, and all that, you know. And they should continue to see that all these things they are doing is for the welfare of their citizens. But they, on their own part, are telling you that the ECOWAS are not even supported them in terms of insecurity. And you can see that it is Nigeria that is doing very the brunt. Most of these countries, they now come migrate towards Nigeria, and we see a lot of Nigerians, a lot of Malians, a lot of Burkina Faso people in the country trying to even come a user in Nigeria, which we are already suffering our own insurgency in the northeast, banditry in the south, northwest, and of course kidnapping and every other thing in the country. So it's a lot of security implication. But what I would advise Nigeria or ECOWAS to do now is still continue to negotiate with them, despite that they are still military junta, because it's not even affecting the African trades, which most of these countries have signed.
Yes. After, I was going to even ask you about that. After. Yes.
It's going to affect that. We are saying we need this kind of cooperation, this kind of trade among West Africa sub-region to improve the quality of the people in this West Africa in terms of trading between them and make things easy for everybody. So my advice to ECOWAS is, yes, follow your protocol. Ignore what they are saying that they have left ECOWAS. The rule is saying you must give 1 year notice before you can even leave. But I'm saying, yes, they should continue to let them know that this thing is for the interest of everybody in West Africa. So they should give the ECOWAS the timetable for their handing over to civilian governments.
Charles, let me ask you this question before we should focus to the last story now. What do you think these three countries stands to benefit by pulling out from ECOWAS to set up their own bloc? They've said that they're going to come up with a pan-Sahel African bloc. What do you think they stand to benefit from pulling out of ECOWAS, despite the sanction imposed on them?
They don't stand to benefit anything, because you need to be friendly with your neighbors. You have 20 neighbors, 15 neighbors, and just 3 want to say they want to form their own bloc. You can still see that it will not really work for them. So it is in their own best interest to remain in that ECOWAS. And let ECOWAS also strengthen its mandate in terms of ensuring that they follow what is the ECOWAS protocol. They go back to what the founding fathers have in mind when they set up ECOWAS. Free movement, cooperation among people in the sub-region. At the same time, each member state should continue to enforce good governance in their own state, so that it will not give chance for any military government to come and say, over.
Charles, are you still there?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much for that insight. Now let's wrap up this segment of the program with this final story. The National Pension Commission has come out to say that assets under the contributory pension scheme actually hit 18.36 trillion naira by the end of the past year, 2023. How do you react to this? Even though industry watchers have said that the pension contributory pension scheme is under-penetrated despite this huge turnout. What's your reaction to this? I believe you are much more interested in this particular sector. What would you say about this, and in what way do you think that the industry players or regulators need to spur up more investment in this scheme?
Yes, the scheme is very laudable, and you can see that increase has come as a result of analysts like us keep putting pressure on employers that will say that this scheme is for the best interest of the employer and the employee. And that's why we are seeing more and more employers, enrolling in that scheme. And here we're now seeing the increment in the funds under management. My advice for government or the regulator, that is the PENCOM, is to review the investment policy of these pension fund administrators or the pension custodians, is to review the investment policy, ensure that they invest in assets that will give good return to this pension fund, so that at the end of the day, the employee who has contributed to that fund, they are using the money, and when he retires, is able to get a reasonable amount before they begin to pay him kind of an annuity on a monthly basis. So that at the end of the day, when you are working, you are not too distracted as to what will happen to you when you retire or when you leave your job. So those are the things that we need to be looked into, and to ensure that there is proper regulatory framework for the pension fund administrator and of course for the pension custodian, because when you keep funds of workers, you must ensure that it is properly utilized. The investment they have done, they get the optimal return to the benefits of the contributors of that fund.
All right, we'll leave it at that. I'd like to say a big thank you to you, Charles Frakuga, iBrand Senior Analyst, who is also a stockbroker, a personal finance expert. Thank you so much for your time with me on the show this morning, for your in-depth analysis and giving us insights on how we can move about macroeconomic issues as they affect us, and also what government can do to move this country to the next level. Thank you so much, Charles, for your time with me on the show this morning.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.